Welcome back. You're watching Prime Property and I'm Nayantara Rai. This week we are focusing on Faridabad. Now to discuss the future of Faridabad, I'm joined by Omax CEO Mohit Goyal. I would like to caveat at this juncture that Omax has a large presence in Faridabad. We are also joined by Rohan Sharma of JLL, an international property consultancy firm. Thanks a lot, gentlemen, for joining us here on Prime Property. Mohit, I'm going to come to you first. So Faridabad is one of the two smart city candidates for the state of Haryana, Karnal being the second one. How did your industry peers react to this? Were you surprised that Faridabad made the cut?
Oh, definitely it was on expected lines. Faridabad is one city which I really think is completely ignored by the state government. They were only concentrating on Gurgaon. So, we kind of, like real estate community, we kind of call that Faridabad is a forgotten son of Haryana government, because the location of Faridabad is very, very good. It's south of Delhi, absolutely connected to Delhi. And the rates over there are still very, very affordable. Like such a development, now giving a tag of smart city to Faridabad, I really think it would come up very well in terms of infrastructure, and overall real estate development will also happen very well. Talking about Karnal, Karnal is of course the hometown of our Chief Minister. Again, Karnal also has huge potential because it comes on the GT road towards Chandigarh. So I really think Karnal also should come up really well once it's taken as smart city.
So Omax saying not at all surprised. It was a long expected line for Faridabad to be chosen as a smart city candidate. How would you react to that, Rohan? Were you expecting Faridabad to be chosen? And how do you react to the fact that Gurgaon was given a miss?
I think people are a bit surprised that Gurgaon is not there. And I think Gurgaon definitely is crying loud for a definite improvement in infrastructure. But I think to a very large extent, a lot of work there is already happening. So, maybe bringing up Faridabad up to speed in terms of not just connectivity and infrastructure, but even economic drivers, I think is the right step.
Rohan, we heard Mohit talking about how prices in Faridabad are averaging, about 3,000 rupees a square foot. That's quite cheap when you get to the rest of the NCR. Why hasn't this market taken off?
Look, it's been a fairly slow market since the, when it initially emerged in 8 and 9, there was a fair bit of traction there. I think what has happened is a lot of people lost faith with, a lot of issues they faced with developers there. You did not have too many big developers there at point in time. And there were issues with respect to delivery, conflict with respect to no construction happening, a lot of consumer complaints. And so that was, a factor that put off end users. Now, this market had always been an end-user market. There was not much speculative activity or investor activity happening in Faridabad. You had a situation where, because there were not enough economic drivers to the city, investors were not very keen on looking at projects in this market.
Coming on that, Mohit, you've just heard Rohan of JLL saying investor confidence in Faridabad is badly shaken because developers did not complete projects. There were many complaints, etc. This is, of course, the doing of your industry peers. How do you react to that? Do you concede that this is indeed the case?
See, Faridabad, it kind of came into media a lot because there were only 10 developers, and out of 10, two ran away. And if you talk about Noida or Gurgaon, there are hundreds of developers and 10 ran away or 20 ran away. The percentage was less. But yes, investor confidence got shaken up because of those developers. But now investors and end users need to learn their lessons and need to focus on the developers they can trust on. They have to check their delivery schedules, whether they've delivered projects or not.
Mohit from Omax saying consumers should choose their developers safely. How are consumers supposed to do that? No one buys a property thinking, I'm not ever going to get possession of it. What do you advise your clients when it comes to Faridabad?
Look, from an end user perspective, we've been telling people to be a little bit more circumspect and careful. So look at projects which are closer to completion, or at least where construction activities, happening at a pretty good pace. At least delivery might is a distinct possibility in the next 12 to 18 months. Or look at unsold inventory with developers in completed projects. So from an end user perspective, I think that's the advice we want to go with. From an entry perspective, again, the lowest price points are available in the greater Faridabad area, where your prices could be anywhere between 3,000 to 3,700 rupees a square foot, which is pretty affordable compared to other markets in Delhi. Otherwise, you could look at projects which are coming up on the main National Highway NH2 Mathura Road stretch, which obviously are slightly more premiumly priced at something like 6,000 per square feet and above. And you can again look at projects there. The other third region that is getting some traction now is on the right hand side of the highway when you're coming from Delhi towards Faridabad, which is where your Eros, Chamwood village and all those developments have happened. Now there is some sort of movement that's being seen on ground there as well, and that is another area where you could look at projects. There the entry point will typically be upwards of 7,000 rupees per square foot.
Now besides non-completion of projects, construction being left midway, Rohan, I want your comments on this. There is a perception that the crime rate in Faridabad is high. Whether that's justified or not justified, that does seem to be a perception that acts against the property market. Would you agree with that? Is that the kind of feedback you get from your clients?
Yeah, to a certain extent that issue will remain. I think things will improve only gradually. But like I said, the crime rate kind of it tends to be a sticky point for a lot of people. But you will find similar crime rates in similar crimes in Gurgaon as well. There are incidences in Gurgaon and there are incidences in Noida as well. I think it at times becomes a long-term perception where the reality might be a little different. But all in all, I would simply say that I think as things are improving and more people are going to stay here, more activity starts happening here, you will see a gradual shift in the crime rate definitely going down. There will be obviously more emphasis on security if the government really wants to prep up this location as a smart city.
Okay, now bad stuff. Now let's talk about the good stuff. Mohit, I'm going to come to you. Last week, we saw Faridabad being connected with Delhi. We've seen new infrastructure being promised, new roads, etc. What is this going to mean for Faridabad's property market? And do you think this is going to be enough for corporates to enter Faridabad? Let's be honest, they have been skipping the city.
Absolutely, this is the thing which will have an impact on residential market. There were two reasons why corporates were not going to Faridabad. Number one was the connectivity and the infrastructure which I was talking about before. But now the NH2, which is getting widened by 6 lanes, it's going to get, the work's going to get over in the next 2-3 years. Metro line coming over there. So it becomes easy for good workers, like still good professionals. They do not like to go and stay in Faridabad. But I really think after this connectivity and infrastructure development, they will shift in there. A lot of corporate will also move in. So if I talk about rates like Mohan Cooperative, which is just 1 minute, 2 minutes away from Faridabad, the rentals over there is around 120 rupees per square feet. And just 2 minutes away in Faridabad, the rentals are 60 rupees, 70 rupees per square feet, which was completely, not understandable in terms of real estate fundamentals. The only reason again was infrastructure. It's coming up well. I really think future of Faridabad is really, really bright.
So Mohit, while we're talking about the metro being operational, has that already been priced in?
See, real estate has become really matured. Investors, all the end users, they become mature. You just cannot throw one information, one news that metro is coming or metro is live now and tomorrow rates are going to go up. It doesn't happen that way. Overall round development you need for the infrastructure. Metro is there. The national highway should be brought up. The internal roads, the sector roads should be made fine. The sewage system, electricity should be fine. Once all these infrastructure situation will get fine, then only the rates will go up. So overall, in the next 5 years, I really think Faridabad should appreciate between 5 to 10%, 5 to 15% per annum.
Mohit, you're extremely bullish on Faridabad. Give me an idea of the kind of price appreciation you have witnessed in the city. You're also, convinced corporates are going to enter Faridabad. Why is that the case? Have you seen corporates entering, and if yes, which ones?
So we launched 3 group housing in Neher Pas, sector 86 and 78, 79 at around 1,300 rupees per square feet. Today, this is around 7 years back. Today, the resale rate would be around 4,000, 4,500 rupees per square feet. And regarding corporates, I would say there are very few corporate which have moved in to Faridabad, and they've just moved into Mathura Road, not in Greater Faridabad right now. Vatika and few other developers are doing huge developments on the Mathura Road and NH2. I really don't remember, or I can't name one huge corporate's name which has moved in, but small corporates or small offices have definitely opened up.
Okay, so that's a very bullish Omax for you. Rohan, I'm going to give you the final word, and what I want you to do is actually rate the cities of NCR for us in order of preference. And I don't mean the far-flung ones of Bhiwadi, etc., the ones closer to Delhi, Noida, Gurgaon, Faridabad, Ghaziabad, etc.
Look, if I go in from an investor perspective, people's preferences are still towards Gurgaon, followed by Noida. Then people will look at Ghaziabad and then Faridabad. That is right now the order of investors. If you go in from end users, from an end user perspective, pricing becomes very important, and hence Noida and Ghaziabad start looking a little better for them in terms of prices. In Gurgaon, the focus for end users is typically towards projects which are closer to delivery, or which are, or where secondary market transactions are available at pretty decent discounts compared to the primary market.
Well, Rohan, I couldn't help noticing that Faridabad has not actually featured on the top of that list that you've given us. Well, thanks a lot, gentlemen, for joining us here on Prime Property. We'll get you both back when we discuss Faridabad again in the future. For now, time for a short break. When we return, we're going to get you exclusive visuals of Mumbai's most expensive bungalow, Kumar Mangalam Birla, shattered records to buy one on Malabar Hills. Details when we return.